What's up with your butt up? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to your favorite with your messy ass story time. This is probably gonna be like a dumb question because I feel like I already know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Have you guys ever had someone be around you and just their very presence makes you feel so insecure? Like, they didn't say anything to you, they're not mean to you, you may not even know this person. The minute that they're in the vicinity, you immediately feel like a potato. Like, you immediately feel like an ass ugly fucking potato with like, you just me? Okay, so today's story is gonna be about the time that I felt super insecure. It was probably the worst that I've ever felt it. Feeling insecure around other people, it could be another girl, a guy, it doesn't really matter. Feeling insecurity at some point in your life, super normal. I want to tell you guys about this because I just want y'all to know that y'all aren't alone, and this is gonna happen, and you have to know how to respond to it and understand that it is not you. It's not anything about you, or like, it doesn't mean that you're less than or anything like that. I was 17 years old. I was still living at home and, you know, just regular teenage shit. At this point, I had never, ever been to a high school dance. Not homecoming, not winter formal, not shit. I did not go to dances. So as you guys know, I did meet Robert's funky ass at my fourth and final high school, right? And we were in different grades, so there was a lot of people that he knew that I didn't know, and vice versa. His little brother would like mention this girl that Robert had a crush on, apparently, that went to our school. And they never told us what her name was. He just kind of used to poke at Robert and be like, oh my God, like, you didn't have the balls to talk to her. I'm surprised that you had the balls to talk to Nikki. Like, legit, he used to talk shit to Robert because, you know, Robert was real shy or whatever. And like, he brought this up in such a nonchalant way, like in passing. We're at this fast food restaurant and his brother's like picking at him and mentions mystery girl that apparently we went to school with that Robert had a huge crush on and never did anything about. So immediately, bitch, there's a fucking problem. I'm like, Robert, we're gonna talk about this in a little bit, like straight up. Obviously, I bring this to Robert and I'm like, hey, what was your brother talking about? Like, who the fuck is this bitch that you were too nervous to talk to? Like, who the fuck is this, you know? In normal boy fucking fashion, lies to my fucking face. And so he's like, he was just kidding, babe. Like, he just be talking shit. Like, there wasn't no girl. Like, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of times when you're in that situation and your man refuses to answer, well, bitch, you're kind of shit out of luck unless you want to do the digging and figure out who it is. We had been together for so long at this point. It's not that it didn't matter. I really didn't place a whole lot of emphasis on it because I never saw an issue. I never saw anybody around Robert, like, you know, too much or being too friendly, or it just didn't seem like an issue, like something I should be concerned about. So, you know, it was a fleeting thought. I had a pang of jealousy, and then, you know, once he reassured me that it wasn't anything and his brother was lying or whatever the fuck, I was like, you know what, meh, we've been together for a while. Who cares about this mystery girl? Like, obviously he's moved on, so it's fine. Or so we like to say to ourselves. Fast forward, I don't know how much time, and we used to live near this big mall, and it was an outdoor mall, and it was pretty new at the time. So literally, bitch, everyone at our school, including myself, I ended up working at this mall. That's where Ross was, but I wasn't working there yet. During this time of the story, I wasn't working at Ross yet, but this was the mall that I worked at, right? So as we start going there more often, you know, we go into different shops and we start seeing some acquaintances, friends, or just like kids that went to our school that were working there at the different stores, right? So we start doing that. I used to go there with Ariel and we would meet up with our friends and stuff and like kind of go separate ways. So one day came around and that's exactly what we did. We rode the bus over to this mall. It was me and Ariel, and then she had people that she was meeting up with. So did I, Robert included. And when we got there, peace the fuck out. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. So for the most part, it was only the four of us that were walking around. Anyways, I don't know what the fuck was going on, bitch, but like there was something happening at home where I was like almost depressed. Like, I didn't feel like getting ready. Like, I didn't look or feel like myself. I felt very grubby. I was wearing like sweats and my hair was in a messy bun. I had no makeup on. I just didn't feel like getting ready. And I know all I can remember was like there was drama going on. I don't know if it was between me and my mom or something at our house, like something, family fighting, drama, whatever. Definitely not my best moment when it came to like outfit, hair, makeup, all that shit. Bitch, I was looking struggle. Seeing Robert was gonna make me feel better. So that's why I was there. And I just kind of was looking for comfort in my boyfriend. All that to say, you know, it wasn't one of my nicest moments. So here we go. We're at the mall and we're just kind of passing time, and I'm trying to find comfort in my mans and, you know, this, that, and the third. We start looking around at different stores. We stopped and got ice cream. Like, you know, I remember Robert talking to me about whatever was going on at home, and like, you know, his brother and his brother's friend went off on their own, and I remember him talking to me and being like, babe, you know, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Like, are you okay? Like, I wish I could do something, like whatever. So we're talking about this very, very heavy. I end up crying. I'm in this ice cream shop with him across the table, and like, I'm sobbing and I'm crying about something, my parents. I don't remember. I was just like really fucking frustrated, angry, and I was hurt, and like my feelings were hurt. And so I was a fucking bitch. Long story short, bitch, I was a mess. Your girl was a mess. I had no business being out there, to be honest. But so I cry my eyes out for like 15-20 minutes, and Robert hears me out, and you know, he like tries to comfort me, whatever. I finally get my shit together enough. I'm like puffy in the face, and like, you know how you get when you fucking cry and like I want to take a nap. Like, just not my best. We get up, we leave the ice cream shop, and Robert, you know, like has me under his arm, and he's like, you're gonna be fine, it's gonna be okay, like let's just go look around, get your mind off of it, whatever. So we keep going to different stores, and we meet up with his little brother and his friend. They were already in there, and I try to fix my face. Like, I don't like anybody else knowing that I'm going through shit. So I'm like, I pull it together, and I have a smile on my face, and I'm playing around with his brother, and I'm making jokes, and like, you couldn't even tell that I was crying just 2 minutes ago. We take like 10 minutes in the store. We make our way around, and then we don't end up buying anything. We leave. Fast forward, and they had just opened this new store, and it was called Charming Charlie's. Y'all let me know if y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. But this store, amazing, okay? Like, literally, somebody with OCD, this is their fucking heaven, because they color coordinate everything. Everything is color coordinated. Like, you walk in, and it's like a fucking rainbow, and they sell, like, accessories, purses, necklaces, like, all types of jewelry, like, little, you know, like, things to put on the end of your purse. Super cute spot, okay? And they had just opened one up. I had heard about it opening, and I had never been in one before, and I was super excited. So we're walking around, and I see fucking Charming Charlie's, and I'm like, oh my God, it's open. Like, we gotta go in there. Can we please go in there? And so the boys, obviously being boys, they're like, oh, really? Like, oh my God, like, let's go. So they do me a favor, and they come into Charming Charlie's with me. And the minute that I step in, like, I'm like in heaven, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much to look at. So I like fucking beeline it, and I go to like, you know, the first section, and I'm going through everything, just looking at all the purses, and like, I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute. And like, bitch, I had no money, by the way, okay? I just loved window shopping and shit. I'm like gushing over all of these accessories and just having the time of my fucking life, right? So much so that I really realized that like, I kind of left Robert behind. The minute we stepped in that store, bitch, I was on my own. All in the corners, trying on scarves and shit. Meanwhile, him, his brother's friend, they're kind of floating around the front of the store, like, you know, towards the front doors. And, you know, they're not really coming into the store. They're just kind of awkwardly standing around the front door, which obviously is going to look crazy to anybody who works there. So at this point in time, there wasn't a whole lot of people in the store. I want to say like maybe 3 or 4 other girls were there, plus the people that were working there. I see this girl, and she comes out of the back, and she rounds, like she comes past the cash registers, and she's walking onto the floor. And when I tell you, bitch, this girl was gorgeous. Like, if I had to guess, she had to have been like Middle Eastern or like Lebanese or Persian or something like that. Like, she had, I'm gonna try to explain her to y'all, okay? Like, she had real thick, beautiful waist length black hair, and it was like layered real cute. So her curls fucking popping, bitch. I'm all about the visuals, okay? So I scoured the internet looking for a girl that reminded me of this girl, and like straight up, she looked just like this. Just imagine black hair, okay? This girl with black hair. Thank you very much. I remember her being like a little bit taller than me, and bitch, she was built very cute, and like she was overall, bitch, she was a beautiful person. Like, she was a beautiful girl. Like, there was no other way to describe this girl besides beautiful, gorgeous. Like, she just, so imagine I'm 17, going through it, hair in a messy bun, looking crusty, dusty, and musty, And I look up and I see this gorgeous girl. And she's definitely around my age, Robert's age. I just feel so much shame. I feel so self-conscious. I feel like a disgusting, just no fashion having ugliest person on the fucking earth. I felt so small. Out of my worst nightmare, guess where this girl is headed? She has her sights toward the front door. And guess who's standing by the front door? My man's is standing at the front door, and this completely drop dead gorgeous girl is heading straight towards him, and my musty ass is just watching from the sidelines. Immediately, I look over at Robert because I know that this girl is beautiful. There's no question about it. I just want to see his reaction. I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. Like, don't do that unless you want to get your feelings hurt. Like, straight up. Y'all, his face. He looked at this girl and he had the same reaction that I did. Just like, you could tell that the very sight of her took his breath away, bitch. And I'm watching this just looking hella crazy. Where I'm standing right now, I can't hear what they're talking about. But she walks up to him. Y'all, I physically see my boyfriend just like crumble. And like, he starts stuttering. He's like turning red in the face. All of the things. And I'm just like, oh my God. I didn't know what else to do besides we need to go. Like, we need to get out of here. And as I walk closer, I hear her, talking to not just Robert, but like his brother or whatever. And she was like, hey, like, are you guys looking for something in particular? Like, can I help you guys? And like, Robert's fucking stuttering like a bumbling idiot. And literally his brother and his brother's friend know exactly what's going on. And they're just looking at Robert. They think it's so funny that he's like losing his words. And he's like fucking falling all over himself over this girl. And they're like, really, Robert? No, we're actually fine. And so they read it so much so that Robert's little brother looks over and was like, no, we don't need anything. We're here with my brother's girl. Yeah, we're just waiting on my brother's girl. His girl is here. I feel like he felt the need to be like, hey, you got a girl. Like, we here with your girl. Like, fucking pick up your jaw. The minute that he mentions his girl, Robert, it's like he wakes up out of a trance. And he immediately looks over. And for the first time this entire time, he realizes that I'm literally right here. I have already walked up to this, okay? And I was right here and he had no clue. We leave the store. He doesn't say anything to her. And I'm sure that this seems so weird to her. And I could literally hear her being like, okay, bye. Have a nice day. And like, you could tell that she was genuinely confused about this entire situation. Robert pulls me out of the store. We walk down the street, like past a few stores in complete silence. And his brother and his friend are behind us in silence too. It is so fucking awkward. And it's awkward for a reason. Everybody knows the reason. Like, it was so evident. I don't know if y'all have ever had this moment, but bitch, it was so evident. Like, he couldn't even deny it. So instead of talking about it, we just stayed silent. It just got awkward for the rest of the time. And I texted Ariel and told her, like, I'm going home early. And she was like, what the fuck? What happened? And I was so upset. And I was like, nothing. Like, I don't want to talk about it. She ends up meeting me at the bus stop. And I'm not crying. I'm just like devastated. And I'm just sitting there looking into dead space, literally replaying the entire scenario in my head over and over and over and over. And every time I see Robert's fucking face and the way that he looked at her replaying in my mind, it just tore me apart. It was like the way that he looked at Jazzy. You remember when I told you guys about her? It was like that times 100. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a dude look at somebody like that. So yeah, no, it did wonders for my self-esteem, and I went home a fucking wreck, even worse than I left. And I spent the entire evening crying and thinking that I was just so ugly. And I stood in the mirror and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And like, how come I can't look like her? Bitch, I was so stick thin in high school, and I felt like I had no ass. I felt like I had no boobs. I felt like everything that this girl had that made her drop dead gorgeous, I felt like I did not have that. And so I like went home just to pick myself apart, all the things that were wrong with me, what I needed to change. I couldn't wait to be 18 so I could get a boob job, solely because I never, ever, ever wanted to feel what I felt that day ever again. Like, I never wanted to feel less than or so small around another person. Girl, this is the time when you're a teenager, you start plotting and planning. I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Typically, it's because you get around this one person and they just make you feel like it's just so fucking ugly. Fast forward, and I go to school one day. I'm feeling cute. You know, I had straightened my hair and shit. Normal school day, nothing amiss. We're like in the main hallway and we're just talking mindlessly, all in a line. And there's y'all know how passing periods are. It's just like, and it's like this, bitch. So like we're getting through the crowd and like kind of splitting up and coming back together and doing one of these, right? In the middle of my conversation with one of my friends, I look up in the sea of kids. I see a girl with beautiful, thick, black hair, layered all kinds of cute with the most perfect curls. My fucking heart stopped. And I just like kind of stutter stepped and like tried to like look. Nothing else mattered to me in that moment. Like, what the fuck? This girl walks right past me in the hallway with one of her friends. And it's the same girl from Charming Charlie's. And I had no clue, bitch, that we went to the same school. I had no idea. Turns out she was a senior. That's why I didn't know. I didn't have any classes with her. I didn't know her. Like, I swear on everything, I'd never seen her outside of that time at Charming Charlie's. The most gorgeous girl ever goes to my school. Yay me. It's fucking awesome. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, bitch? So I'm not in a good place. Now, once you see your man have that type of reaction around a girl, do you want that girl to even be in the fucking vicinity every motherfucking day? So I'm like having a crisis. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to be like in the same school with this bitch? And like, I know that my man is like head over heels. Like, you cannot fake that reaction. Fast forward, I end up at Robert's house sometime after this. And me and his brother used to play video games, just he and I, all the time. Like, we would play Guitar Hero, we'd be playing Mario Kart, we'd be playing, he tried to get me into Call of Duty a few times, but you know, we would just kind of chill, hang out. Robert's little brother is mentioning that girl, Tanya. He said something along the lines of like, I'm surprised I didn't fight. What the fuck was that about? Like, did you see that? Like, bringing up what happened at Charming Charlie's. He's playing mindlessly, and all of a sudden he was like, but you know, I don't expect nothing less. He's been in love with her since like fucking 8th grade. Bitch, what? Y'all, I put my controller down immediately. I was like, no, you need to explain. Stop. I don't want any part of this. Like, I don't want to be in the drama. I was like, no. You said it. So fucking explain. We go round and round for a little bit, and I'm like, I promise. And his big thing, he was like, I don't want you to fight with my brother about this because he's gonna kick my ass if I tell you. And I was like, I'm not gonna fight with him. I promise. But I promise you, I will fucking fight you if you don't tell me about this fucking girl. Like, what are you talking about? And I have to also agree to buy him some snacks. And he finally tells me about Robert's age-old school crush named Tanya. This was the crush that they were talking about when they would make fun of Robert and say that he didn't have the balls to ask this girl out. This is the girl. Her. This one. Tanya. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Amazing. Angelic. Her. Okay? You know how I feel about long history whenever I'm always fucking new, bitch. You immediately feel like you're bottom tier, okay? It's not a big deal. Don't read too much into it. And please, for the love of God, do not fight with my brother about this because he will literally kill me. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And in this scenario, I wanted the truth. But I can't take the truth to Robert. And it was so fucking hard. I end up going home. It's on my mind for like weeks. Prom season comes around. You already know about my prom experience, okay? The one and only. And for those of my OGs know that I did not know that I was going to prom, bitch, until the day before. So, like, finding my dress super last minute, trying to match it to Robert's funky ass suit. Like, it was a whole thing. My stepdad was the one who helped me find my dress. It was, like, not cute at all. I busted my ass in the boutique. Like, it was a whole fucking mess. They come over. Our parents meet. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of awkward. Alicia was with me. Y'all already know. Y'all, it was so crowded. She couldn't even drop us off in the front of the venue. She had to drop us off a few blocks away, and then we had to walk the rest of the way because there were so many people. It was so crowded. Everybody looked so good. And it's just like, you know, looking at everybody's dresses and suits and everything like that. Meeting up with our friends, saying, hey, what's up? You know, there's just so much commotion going on in the street. We're walking down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden, this white limo pulls up literally right beside us, and it kind of goes up a little ways. So it parks right near the front of the entrance. And some of us start joking like, damn, like I wish we had that kind of service, you know, like right there at the front. We don't have to walk, whatever. I want to see who the fuck has got the limo like that? Like, who got it like that? The driver gets out and opens the back door. I would like to preface this next part by saying that our theme for prom was Arabian Nights. All of a sudden, I see a gown and a foot step out of the limo. And immediately looking at this fucking dress. It is, okay, it's like a dark ruby red with a bunch of sequins and like very intricate sequin pattern and like beading, and like you could tell this was a very nice dress. I see the leg, and then all of a sudden I see somebody duck out. She grabs a hold of the driver's hand and she steps out onto the sidewalk. And her dress, bitch, it's not a full dress. It's like a long, beautiful skirt and then the top. But it looks like a dress, but it's a two-piece. It was like, and yes, bitch, I do remember every fucking detail because when I tell you, you'll see why. And then he goes in to go grab somebody else out, and it was another girl. Meanwhile, the first girl, she kind of turns around towards the limo. You know, she's like straightening out her dress or whatever. And it's Tanya, bitch, right here in my walkway, and we're like she's standing right here and we're like this. She looked over at us, and it was just at us as a group because we're walking right by her. You know, I'm hand in hand with Robert, and it's Robert's nearest the street, and then it's me, and then it's Alicia, and then some of our other friends are like beside her and behind us. And all of a sudden I feel Robert drop my hand within a split second, just. And we walk past, and it's not a fucking coincidence. We all know why. We all know why. I feel Alicia hook her arm into mine, and she was like, fuck him, let's go. And so she starts walking a little faster with me. She saw everything that happened, and she was like, no, he's not gonna fucking do that. Like, let's go. And keep in mind, Alicia, like everybody else, could not stand Robert's funky ass. She didn't even go to this school. She was coming as a favor to me, to my prom, right? So she's just like looking at Robert like, you fucking disgust me. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's too much. Like, that is so disrespectful. Like, if you're gonna take a peek to where your girl don't notice, ho. Like, what the fuck? And so, y'all, I am dying on the inside. And I walk into my prom feeling that way. I didn't even walk into my prom with my date. I walked into my prom with my best friend. And y'all already know from my other story time about prom, how that went, and the fact that Robert and I were fighting basically the whole time. He was staying at the table. He didn't want to come out and dance. He was just being a fucking stick in the mud, and he was no fun. And I spent most of my prom with my best friend. Every single time this happened, Robert was like melting. Of course, you know, I didn't have any malice towards this girl. Like, it's not her fault that I feel this way about myself. And I think that's where some girls get very confused. And they start fighting with girls that make them feel insecure. And that's where, like, that's not okay. Just because their presence makes you feel a certain way, it's not their responsibility to fix that. Or, like, you know, you can't just be fighting with people over that. So I knew I didn't have an issue with Tanya. I had an issue with the way that my man was responding to Tanya. Like, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I get it. I totally get it. But, like, not necessary. My prom was a fucking shit show, and I had to like fake pass out on the way home because I didn't want him fucking touching me. And yeah, so fast forward. Let's get to the good part, bitch. Fast forward, I don't know, like a year and a half, and by this point I had already left Robert. Okay, I'm 18 years old, about to be 19, and I had already left Robert. I'm already living with my mom again. I got my new job, everything's all good, and I'm still going out with Heather's funky ass, and I'm being petty, and I'm going out with Robert's ex-best friend, because I blew all that shit up out the water about Robert messing with his little sister. Y'all already know. And so this was the time that I was going out to the club with him all the time, taking pictures, like really trying to like stick it to Robert, like, bitch, we don't like you, like none of us do, you know? And so, yeah, you know, I'm doing my messy thing or whatever. And you remember how I told you guys that, you know, Heather and I we were going out every fucking weekend. And, like, starting on Wednesdays and Thursdays, bitch, like, We were doing the most. And we would go like to clubs. We were at dorm parties. And y'all, these dorm parties fucking crazy. This is the dorm parties that like I was talking to that one dude that my I Played a Player video. Yeah, him. So this was around that time, bitch. And I'm in the thick of all my mess and just like, you know, living my best life. And we're hanging out at this place called the Tivoli, and it's actually a brewery. And so, you know, all kinds of people go over there, not just students, but you know, it's basically a bar, but it's mostly college campus kids. Anyways, bitch, we go there. They have some pool tables or whatever inside there. We're playing around. We're messing around. We meet this kid. He's like a mutual friend. He invites us to a dorm party. Okay. And he says that his dorm is huge. His roommate's going to be out of town. Like, we're about to have a rager tonight. Y'all should come. So me and Heather, we get all excited. We're like, hell yeah, we're gonna be there. And so we make plans to go home, freshen up, change, look all cute. She was gonna pick me up. We're gonna go to this dorm party. Cool. We walk in and it's like that scene out of Mean Girls where like she didn't realize that her whole fucking house was gonna be jumping like that, and the door opens and it's like doo 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 like that. It was like that, bitch. So many people. And they had like lighting. They had strobe lighting in there. And like, it straight up looked like a club. They even had like somebody DJing in the corner. It was a whole ass motherfucking party. There were bitches already throwing up in the sink. So we have some catching up to do because everybody is already just, you know, partying their asses off. So as soon as we get in, we start getting offered shots from the boys. So we take one shot, cool, you know, hanging out, dancing. We take another shot. And like by this point, you know, I'm starting to feel warm and fuzzy and like, you know, feeling good. One of the doors opens down the hall. See two girls come out of there with a guy. And, you know, not at all weird at a dorm party. As these people are coming more towards the living room / kitchen area, one of them starts looking extra fucking familiar. Black hair. But this time, not as many layers. Kind of wavy. Little different, but same. Bitch. You're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. Y'all think I'm loud now? When I'm drunk, bitch, forget about it. I had no problem. No fucking way. What are you doing here? And like, y'all, I messed up. She's clearly messed up. And you would have thought that we were best motherfucking friends. You know how we get when we get a little drunkums around each other, you know? And so I'm like, oh my God, girl. I was like, I went to school with you. And I was like, you know, it's so-and-so high school. And she was like, oh my God. She's like, I knew you looked familiar. Oh my God. Hey, babe. And so, you know, she gives me this huge hug. And like I said, you would have thought that we were like home skillets. But it was just one of those like serendipitous moments where I was like, what are the fucking odds? So for the first time, bitch, she follows me to the kitchen and we're going to take another shot together. And she's like really feeling herself, right? And so we take a shot together and we start talking. And I'm like, oh my God, like what you been up to after, you know, graduating, da-da-da. And so I mentioned prom. And I was like, bitch, you were the fucking belle of the ball at prom. Like you did that. Like, I just want to let you know. And she just starts laughing. And she was like, oh my God, thank you. And I did not know that, oh girl, she didn't have a date. And she was like, it's just crazy because like I didn't go with anybody. And I was like, why? I don't mean to be rude, but why? Like, I cannot imagine that a girl like this would have a problem getting a date. But so like I did. I was like, bitch, why? Like, did you just like, I mean, I get it. Like sometimes you just want to enjoy prom with your girls or whatever. So I was like, did you just like want to go with your homegirls? And she was like, no, this fucking asshole almost ruined prom for me. I almost didn't go. No. Don't try to act normal. Don't try to act like you like one of us. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We had like a childhood best friend that went to school with us too, and she kind of put him on the spot and said me or her for prom, and like they had known each other since babies, and he chose to go with her. So to make things even worse, before that happened, like I tried to get a dress that matched what like his favorite color and what we were planning on wearing, and until his little friend pitched a fit. So like we still were matching at prom, but we weren't together. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, girl, I left early. Like it was just a whole ass mess. So thanks, thanks for the compliment. And I was like, life motherfucking lesson, okay? Never ever look at somebody and envy what they have, and like don't ever fool yourself into thinking that they have it perfect, because you never know what they're going through. And in that moment, that day when she stepped out of that limousine looking like that bitch, I did not know that she was sad and upset, and a guy had chosen somebody else over her, and she didn't have a date to prom. And she ended up leaving early. And like, I guess now that I think about it, I didn't see her on the dance floor. Like she was such a fucking showstopper. I didn't see her a whole lot at prom. And that's why, because she left early. Because she was fucking hurt. She was going through her own thing with a guy that made her feel like shit and made her feel like she wasn't enough for another girl. Y'all, it was just one of those moments where I was like, damn. If you want to know if I told her that my man had a crush on her, absolutely fucking not. I did not want to like seem weird and be like, oh, like I was watching you because like my man liked you or whatever. Like I just felt like that was kind of weird. I kept that to myself and I just made peace with my younger self. Like, wow, bitch. Like you felt so insecure around her and she had no idea and she was just going through her own shit. That's why I'm telling you, bitch, it's so fucking normal. And I think we should normalize it more and understand that oftentimes the person that you feel the most insecure about, they have so many insecurities as well. I took a few pictures with her and I had memorized Robert's number by heart, you know, because we all do that. No, I may have sent a little photo or two his way and I texted it to him and I didn't say anything, no words, just the photos. That is my story about my insecurity and just kind of what I learned from that situation and what I wanted to pass on to you guys. Y'all are perfect, beautiful, and if you do find yourself feeling that way, number one, it's normal, and number two, it's not that person's fault, and number three, you never know what other people are going through, and you are fucking perfect as you are, and you're gonna find your fucking person. And when you do find your person, they will never make you feel less than for somebody else. Never. It's not love. Okay. If you guys want some more story times, check out my playlist at the end of this. If you want some more uncensored story times, as well as my cushion crime exclusively on my OnlyFans, I'll leave that information down below, as well as my Twitter and all my socials, which you can find here. I love y'all so much, and I will see your fine ass in my next video. Peace out, y'all. You're beautiful!